Well, hello, Freedom Healthcare family, and welcome to our February member spotlight. I am very excited today to welcome Susan Booth. She is the Vice President of Living Well Initiatives with Azure Standard and Azure Well. So, welcome, Susan.
Well, thank you.
I'm excited that you're here. It's going to be fun chatting about what you do and who you work with. So we'll start off. So tell me, the name of the business and the scope of work that you do. What do you do?
The scope is pretty broad, pretty big. Azure Standard is the health food distributor that we started in 1987, and we now deliver health food and supplements to all 50 states by semi-truck. Yeah, all 50 states. We just got into Delaware a few months ago, finally, so we can claim all
Yay.
50 states. And then Azure Well, our brand of practitioner grade, professional grade supplements, we started that just over a year ago. And that is kind of to help people regain their dietary balance, their nutritional balance. Whole food is our thing, but as we all know, you can't necessarily get all your nutrition from whole food sometimes. And so that's when we brought on the nutritional supplement line. So,
So before I go into the next question, let's dig just a little bit into Azure Well.
okay.
So tell me a little bit more about Azure Well.
Azure Well kind of was born out of a necessity that I got sick with cancer. And when I got sick, I went through the most, cutting edge, closest to natural method possible, and I got well. And after that, then a few months later, it seemed like the cancer might be trying to come back. I got with a doctor that had um, Whole Foods, Whole Food supplements, glandulars, all of the enzymes, things like that, and was using professional grade supplements. And here at Azure Standard, when our CEO and founder David Stelzer saw that I had had such a good effect with getting well a second time from um, from my trouble with cancer. He's like, I agree. We need to bring in our own line of supplements so that everybody can have access to these really super high quality supplements that don't have fillers. They don't have the what we call non-nutritive excipients, things like magnesium stearate, the things that just, kind of bring your energy down. We needed a supplement line that was superior to everything that was out there. So we started working on that, bringing in the best scientists, the best, doctors, everybody to help us figure out what exactly that good, best supplement line would be. So we launched that a little over a year ago.
Congratulations. That's awesome. How
Mhm.
many um how many products are in the line right now? How many different items?
I think we have about 80. And I'm not sure if that was before or after. I think that was before we added the organic Castile liquid soaps. So I think of the actual supplements themselves, we have about 80.
Very cool. Very cool. People are going to have to check that out.
Mhm.
So tell me why you chose this career path for this type of, in general, healing education. Why did you choose to go and be with Azure Standard and Azure Well?
Well, I would say that it wasn't necessarily my choice as such. I just speaking from a very personal level, I think that the Lord just guided me here. This is where He wanted me. I feel like Azure Standard, particularly, has been a tool in God's hands to bring good food and everything to the people who need it, offer jobs to people who need it, just be a benefit to His people in this country. And so I didn't plan my path. I figure God planned it for me, and this is where He put me, and has helped me to be successful. Having said that, I'm really glad to be here doing this because it does feel like it is just so important for the health of the country,
Mhm.
because we know that food is your medicine, medicine is your food, but what happens when the food that's available to you at the grocery store or even sometimes from your local farmer's market has been something that has been sprayed with chemicals, and they've put in all kinds of additives and colorings and whatever? Well, then food is your poison. You've got to get back to food that can actually help heal you. So I've just been really blessed to be part of what Azure Standard and now what Azure Well is doing.
And on a little bit on that, so thinking about, most crops being sprayed, how does Azure Standard source the food that gets dropped in 50 states? How are they sourcing that? Where does it come from so that people know that it isn't getting sprayed?
Well, Azure Standard started out as an organic farm. Well, it was non-organic. David's family moved to organic. And so that's how it started, was selling food directly off the farm. And so we produce grain, beans, a lot of the fresh produce in the fall, like, apples, and I guess cherries are coming up in, June and July.
Yay.
And we started, growing our own cucumbers so that, now under the Sweet Creek line, the cucumbers that are in those pickles will be things that were grown right here on the farm. From there, of course, then it grew in the history of it. David would be traveling around selling the stuff that was on his farm, and somebody would say, "Oh, hey, are you going to be in Portland? Can you pick up some, yogurt from, Nancy's and just bring it with our next order?" And so he did that. Or can you, stop by the spice place in Portland and bring that with us? And so, yes, we do get things from other places, for sure, for sure. Now, even from overseas, we're able to, do direct importing of things like coconut oil and things like that from where those things grow. But everything is vetted, tested. We try to go with organic whenever possible. We try to offer an organic option, and then make sure that even the things that are not organic are things that aren't sprayed. And so we have a pretty extensive product standard list on our website of all of the ingredients that we ban, and we've set a standard that nothing at Azure will be GMO, genetically modified. And that right there is huge, because a lot of the products that are sprayed the most are the things that are Roundup ready.
Yeah.
So just going non-GMO helps to get rid of a whole bunch of chemicals just by itself. But then, to avoid all the glyphosate and everything out there, then going fully organic. But yeah, we've got some pretty high standards, and we want people to feel safe when they come here to shop, that then
Yeah.
they know that it's not going to have bad stuff in it, because Azure has vetted it for these basic things.
And that's really important. And people need to realize how important food is. I mean, we're learning more and more, and it's starting to become, information's coming out on how the things in food, the processed foods and everything really are bad for us. And where to actually find good foods. If they're somewhere where they're not near a farmer's market, or they don't have a garden that they can grow their own, it's important that people know a place that they can actually get good, healthy food. And I love it that you're in 50 states now. And it's so funny because we have a little farmer's market that's about 15 minutes from me, and they're open most of the time, but definitely every Saturday. And they just announced that they were going to be the new Azure Drop. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's right here. Because I think the
Good.
next one's maybe like 45 minutes from me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. All right, I need to go on the website. And so
Good.
it's awesome. So it's important that people know they can find it, especially if you're in 50 states now. So this kind of goes along with the next thing I'm going to ask you. How do you think with what you're doing fits into this new paradigm of healthcare that we're creating? How do you see it fit?
It fits perfectly. It fits beautifully. Because along with the idea that food is your medicine, it's been difficult, I think, for practitioners, people who are trying to help get people well, to, help them with herbs and supplements and other therapies. And then what do? Just send them back to the grocery store and say, you fend for yourself, see if you can find something. That doesn't work real well. And so, two things. One is because we're independently owned and we really value what you're doing with making the healthcare system different. We have a different paradigm and model even of delivery to make it so that, you can get a delivery in your community right off the back of the truck. We're definitely, different in that aspect. But the piece of being able to actually prescribe, shall we say, healthy food for people. So a practitioner, they can feel good about sending someone to Azure Standard, knowing that they're going to get really good food.
Mhm.
Some practitioners even have a drop at their own location. So, you
That's
can,
handy.
yeah. And the nice thing about it is with our Azure Well program for practitioners, we've made it really different, special, unusual that practitioners can, with this program, get a commission even on the food that their clients buy from Azure Standard. So that is very unusual because, hey, if a practitioner wants to prescribe a carrot juice diet, I'm just making this up. Okay, let's say you're going to have a carrot juice diet.
Right.
Well, there's no money in that, right? But if the practitioner gives their promo code, for Azure Standard to their client, and that client goes and buys 50 pounds of carrots, yes, it's a small commission, but the practitioner gets some back from that. So we really feel like we're doing everything we can to support practitioners that are themselves trying to think outside the box, make it so that everybody can stay afloat, make sure that everybody can keep doing what they do best while their client is getting well. And so, yes, our practitioner program is unique because you not only get a significant commission on the supplements themselves, but you do get a commission on the food too. So, totally integrates there really well with what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it does. And I love it because Freedom Healthcare is collaborating with Azure Well and Azure Standard. And I love that because this really is a whole piece, a whole person, a WHOLE and holistic. It's the whole person. So if we're finding them the practitioners that actually are more interested in healing than harming, and then they find quality supplements that they can utilize. And you're absolutely right. Well, if you're going to go home and you're going to go to Safeway and buy processed food, well, that's just going against everything you're trying to do to be healed. And
Yes.
everything starts in our gut biome anyway. It starts with what we're eating and what we're putting in our body. So that has to start there. So I love that part. And as we collaborate together, it's wonderful because you can talk a little bit more about the practitioner program because this is something that are not only our affiliates, but also our supportive clinic and mobile ministries have access to this practitioner program when they're part of Freedom Healthcare. We have this special collaboration with you to help them help others. So you could give just a little tidbits on the practitioner program so that some of our members watching could not only talk to their practitioners about it, but then also be reaching out to us going, hey, how do we get involved? How do we get to be a part of this?
Mm-hmm. Well, the basic program, what makes it unique from the our competitor types out there like Full Script or whatever, is that when a practitioner gives their promo code to a client, they're going to get a commission off of the supplements and off the food. We also do drop shipping so that they can have it sent directly to their client, or they can buy it themselves and have it in their clinic and sell it that way. But part of the thing that's been really difficult for practitioners everywhere, I think, is Amazon. They have their product, something that's really great. They prescribe it, they give it to their client. The client says, "I think I can get this cheaper over on Amazon." And then they just go buy it over there. And, that's a revenue stream for the practitioner that they just don't get anymore and they can't monitor, anything about it. This makes it so that when their client uses their promo code at Azure Standard, even if that customer, gets a refill of that supplement themselves, they're still going to get that commission. And so we're trying to solve that problem where practitioners lose out on a lot just because people just say, "Oh, I'm just going to buy that on my own. I don't want to go back to my practitioner."
Yeah.
This we're trying to solve that part of that thing.
Well,
So,
and I think a big thing too is because of your standards and the vetting, people don't realize you don't get, if you buy something off Amazon, you don't know what you're getting. You don't really know what's in there or where it's been made. You can't trust what you're actually getting.
mhm,
So they know because of your standards and what you do in your vetting process when people purchase the supplements through their practitioner, they know they're getting quality.
yeah,
And you could talk a little bit more too about what that quality control looks like. So people would be like, well, what if it is a couple dollars more? I mean, what do you want to put in your body? Something
right.
is good, or something you really don't know, but you just want to save $5?
Mhm. Yeah, until we actually dug in and started learning about the nutritional supplement industry, I didn't really know kind of the ins and outs of how it worked and whatnot, but I've learned a lot and learned enough to know that yes, there is a difference between what you get at your doctor and what you get at the store, and they may try to trick you and make you think you're getting the same thing, but what you do get at your practitioner is usually indeed better. And so we're trying really hard to make that professional grade available to people so that we do want them to go to their practitioner because we want them to have all that expertise and guidance. But at the same time, you should be able to get good stuff at the store. Come on. Why should you have all the garbage at the store or, only be able to buy it? You should be able to get really good stuff anyway. So, yes, ours is, we tested extensively. We actually have Dr. Monzo, who you've had on your program before, and he's part of your thing. Dr. Monzo has tested every single product in our line, and he approves it. He tests and approves any new items we're looking at bringing in. And he actually has formulated several of the formulations that we have, and he's formulating more of them. And that's just one of the many tests that we do. We just sure enjoy Dr. Monzo being kind of hands-on to help us because at one point he knew he wanted to have his own line, but it is so hard for a practitioner to have their own line. It is a lot of work.
A
And
lot of
so
work.
to kind of partner with us on that to make it so that he feels really comfortable having Azure Well be his line, that he's able to promote and have direct visibility into the quality of it. But yeah, that and every product that we have goes through extensive testing for purity, potency, efficacy, all of those things. It's we truly have gone the extra mile to make it a professional grade supplement for sure.
That's so cool. And having Dr. Monzo, be a part of it as well, because he's very meticulous and his work is just incredible. So just knowing just that other set of eyes
Mhm,
is very comforting because of what he does and his background.
mhm,
So that's very cool. Yeah, people need to know. They need to know where they can actually get quality and what's actually going to be the best for their body.
Mhm.
So, what key point or takeaway would you like to share with everybody that's listening today? What extra little point would you like to make?
Well, I gather that the audience here is mostly people who are really trying to help other people get well. And I would say a big thank you because not everybody has the heart and the ability to want to help other people and do it in such a natural way, do it in a God-fearing manner where we know where true health comes from and we know that our Creator God made the food and the herbs for our benefit. And there's so much more about health that we were just now discovering and didn't know. But I guess I would want to say thank you for that. Thank you for putting this together and also encouraging that, yes, what everyone is doing to try to bring good health to this country right now, it's working. It's kind of it's encouraging to me to see that it feels like we're on the cusp of a lot of new good changes where we're actually able to talk about things. I mean, a few months ago, you couldn't even talk about raw milk. You might get,
Right.
and so now that, in the public discourse, we can actually start talking about food and
Yeah.
medicines and ingredients that actually can help people. So I would say keep it up. We're all on the same team, really trying to help people get well because when people are sick, they can't make proper decisions. They
Yeah.
can't think. They can't come to Christ. I say that in a way that, when you can't think of anything else but your own pain, then you're not really able to do much. So I would say that getting back to the kind of food God created and then
Mhm.
balancing out with the herbs and supplements that He's
Yeah.
providing for us, that's where it's at. So,
And that's what we're doing. I mean, people don't realize what true health and true healing looks like. It starts from a spiritual place,
mhm,
and that spiritual connection to our creator affects our emotions and mental mind as well as our physical. So it all works together for the whole person. So you have the healthy food and the healthy supplement piece, which is the baseline of
mhm.
everything. So I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I appreciate that we are in collaborative work to help each other and help people that are out there. So I appreciate you and everything that David and everyone at Azure Standard and Azure Well is doing. So
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you, Susan, for being on. I hope everybody enjoyed listening to this. You can find out more about the practitioner program when you go to Freedom Healthcare and become a member. There's lots of things there, but we're really excited with everything with Azure Standard and Azure Well and what the future holds. So thank you all for being on with us today. Have a blessed day.
Okay. Thanks, Julie.